What's going on, guys? It's Brad again with you tonight. Uh, I my name is Brad Smith. If you're joining my channel for the first time, I specifically discuss trading over-the-counter stocks, and I'm also part of the Techbuds-Solutions group. Ricky Gutierrez is our fearless leader within Techbuds-Solutions, and he primarily trades bigger board stocks based off of technical analysis. And what I do is I trade more on a fundamental basis and over-the-counter stocks. And if you're not familiar with what over-the-counter stocks are, these are stocks that are not listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And what that means is that the volatility on here could be pretty erratic, but that's why we love it. We can make money off of that volatility. And what I'm here to do is just kind of like enlighten you, if you will, to this world of the OTC. And so if you're coming back, you're returning, I don't know what's wrong with your brain, but I appreciate it. If you're here for the first time, welcome. We like to have a good time here at Techbuds-Solutions and pick on each other and whatever else. We're a welcoming environment, and that's first and foremost. We always love to help each other out. If we're lost, if we're not understanding something, and that's the best part about our group. There's a couple of rules, though. Before I get into our tonight's discussion, is that we never trade based off of anybody's opinion, and we don't trade something, we don't buy something that we don't completely understand. With that said, how's it going, guys? I know that we've been playing this main stock that we've been talking about called with ticker symbol MSPC, and so want to talk about that a little bit tonight. But as the title says, I want to go over level 2. I know we have a lot of new traders within Techbuds-Solutions that have been in my chat group because I've seen you, so welcome. And I want to kind of give you an overview of what level 2 is and how that can help you be a better trader, especially here in the OTC. Once we go over all that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions, and it doesn't have to be necessarily related to tonight's topic. It could be about anything, and we'll just have a little back and forth, and then we'll go from there. No comments about how crappy my feed is, so I guess we're good there. Everybody just saying, hey, what's going on, guys? I know it was a little bit of a stressful day for some of us, but I'm here to tell you to hang in there, because such is life in the OTC. You see one red day, and then you see a really green one, and everybody's happy again. So we have a running joke called stones, and we always like to say, you got to have stones to be down here. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do is talk about level 2 and what are called market makers. Market makers are, they can be people, but basically they are used to manipulate a stock. They are sitting on an ask price and a bid price, and they basically control, or they make the market of that particular stock. So they'll adjust a bid price to fit their need, and they will adjust an ask price to fit their need based off of what they're trading throughout the day. They have an inventory, just like imagine an inventory of stocks that they're trying to move around, and so they control the spread of that price, of that bid and ask price, to entice people to buy down maybe at a lower price or buy at a higher price based off of movement. Their main job is to create liquidity within a stock the best that they can. And so oftentimes, you'll hear us talking about, once you learn level 2 dilution, it's pretty easy to spot these market makers, and you always want to pay attention to who is on the ask too. So if it is just NITE that you'll see on level 2, and I'll show you this all in a second, or UBSS, for example, most likely you won't see any manipulation. So if you see PERT or VFIN, any of those other market manipulators, they're typically the #1 diluters on the market. They're very publicly known as diluters, and that's like in the main market, right? There's also these cosmetic market makers, and they're special market makers that are used by companies to help high dilution from less learned traders. So some of them are PUNK. You'll see these on level 2 again. I'll show you in a second. MERRI and VNDM is a popular one in the OTC. Sometimes it's easier to use them than the well-known ones like Vert. So Vert is actually a shorting stock too. If you're watching level 2, and you'll see these diluters right on the ask most of the time and that's when they are actually just dumping shares into the stock itself. Sometimes these market makers will mask things. They'll make a bid price look a little more inflated than it actually is to maybe trick you a little bit. And so it's important to understand that this could be a possibility and not to scare you out of a stock. And we saw a lot of that today, I think, especially with a lot of the dumping that occurred on that ticker symbol MSPC. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen real quick to kind of show you what I mean. I'm going to pull up Thinkorswim, and bear with me because I don't actually use Thinkorswim all that often. I use Trade Architect during the day, but I really like the function that Thinkorswim has with the on-demand. You can go back and watch trades that were made throughout any given day up to 2 days ago. So I'm going to show you March 6th's activity, show you 3 tickers that were traded throughout the day, and just kind of give you an idea of how these market makers work, and just to give you a better idea of what it's like trading OTC stocks down here. So let me go ahead and share this with you. Okay, so as you can see here, I have MSPC pulled up, I have FERN pulled up, and I have VTNL. These are all 3 are ticker symbols that are currently being diluted by dilutive market makers on those cosmetic market makers that I was discussing earlier. So BMIC, you can see him here on MSPC, and in this particular instance, this is on March 6th, by the way, about 10:42 a.m. Eastern time, and BMIC has been pushed off of the ask. And so that's when we say all the time, BMIC or VNDM has been pushed off of the ask. Oftentimes when you see a lot of buying, some huge volume that comes in, like we have seen with MSPC here as of late, that market maker gets pushed off because they realize that they're not able to dump in as many shares as they would normally be able to with lower volume numbers. And so retail then takes over. So that's what this NITE is. This is a retail market maker because actual people are buying and selling this stock. And so same thing goes for Fern here. Fern was getting bought up a little bit here over in recent days. But oftentimes, when you can tell when a market maker is directly diluting a stock, because typically that market maker will sit right on top of the ask. It'll be right up here at the top on the ask side. And, sometimes you'll just see like this $10,000 size on the ask. And that's kind of like a fake number. That's a number that they don't really want you to see until oftentimes at the end of the day, you'll see all the trades that were made. And that's what we call a T trade. So oftentimes, so you guys might have seen us, talking about that within our chat group, and that is a T trade. And so T trades don't really necessarily affect the price at the end of the day, even though sometimes it looks like it does, because all of those trades have been made earlier throughout the day. It's just now that market maker is showing his hand at the end of the day, letting you all know that he basically dumped a bunch of shares into a stock. We saw that with MSPC here in recent days as well. And so why is it important? Because it's important when you're looking to either buy or sell a stock. So if you're seeing that there is a huge number of shares on the ask and you want to buy this stock and you try to put something in on the bid and the bid is very low support, then that order may not fill. So if that order, so sometimes you might be forced to slap the ask depending on volume and if you want that, how bad you want that stock. And so, that's kind of an indicator. So and also if you hear us say, there's a huge ask wall, that means that there's a ton of people selling on this side. So a lot of people like to sell on the ask. I always encourage you guys to do that as well, instead of, whacking on that bid price in order to get your maximum profit when you sell. And so that is why when we say that, and even same thing on the other side, like if the bid price is loaded, that means it's fully supported at this price. If there's a huge number here and there's not a whole lot here, that's when we say that it's being thinly traded, that the ask is super thin. And then what this will do is when people start buying this up, the market makers will start to change this price, oftentimes higher, so people will buy into at a higher price. And the other thing with level two is that it's interesting to always look at when you're watching the actual size of the orders that are going in. And so that's what these are. So these are individual orders. Let me go back to this. This is not an individual order. This is multiple orders that have been sent to this market maker. And it's this market maker's job to sell this on the bid. Okay. And so then when you're looking at the actual purchases that are being made, these are the buys. When it's in green here, these are the buys that are being made. So somebody bought the stock here for, bought almost 3 million shares of that. This was their order, and then it was filled. And then they sold here, and then that was filled there. The sell was filled there. And so, and these white ones are orders that have yet to be filled. So we don't even know if they are buys or sells just yet. They are just orders that are waiting to be filled. Okay. All right. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. And so where do market makers get their shares from? So who's, excuse me, 1 second. I'll be out in a second. And so when, sorry about that, guys, this is my roommate. And so when I am, again, looking at, let me go ahead and bring my face back up here. Bear with me 1 sec, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Okay. So whose money is behind the market makers? So the money who's behind the market makers could be the actual broker dealer itself, or it could also be the company. If they're looking to dilute into the company, that's what that is. Yeah, and so that's basically level 2 in a nutshell. Just kind of wanted to open it up to any other questions, guys. Let me see here. So what are your thoughts concerning MSPC? MSPC suffered a drawback or a pullback today. So that pullback is normal. When we see a stock that's rising, 3,000% in less than or a little over a week, you're going to have those red days where it just pulls back. Some people are going to sell for profits. Sometimes you have shorting going on and that sort of thing. And people try to also, scare people into selling shares so that they can get in at a cheaper price. And so that's the kind of manipulation that sometimes you see, not just from market makers, but from, other folks that are out there as well, influencers, if you will. And so it's your job to determine if that is, something to consider, if you're going to get out, or if that's just kind of fluff and, you've done your due diligence. And so you're sticking to your plan and, you got those stones that we always talk about. And so, yeah, let me see here. All right, guys. Well, that is all I have for you tonight. I just kind of wanted to go over that with you real quick as far as level 2 is concerned. And if you will please do me a huge favor, and if you like this video, if you got some good information out of it, please subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and I also have links to our Facebook group as well as our Discord chat if you're not in that yet. And that is all I got for you guys tonight. I will see you before the bell in the morning, and B Smith is out.